Roger Mayhem even commented in it, but people are really liking, your room, Oscar. And I just got to say that, I don't know how you listen to this, but, you know, the whole thing is you have to fill your cup up, and fill your pot up, and whatever's in it is what's going to drip out of it. And so if all you're doing is filling yourself up with Clown Town, Clown House content, you'll have to find a purgative or some way to flush the system or get a catharsis because you're taking on too much responsibility by listening to these milieus. It's too much information going into your head, which, my name is.
I don't even listen.
You are listening though. That's the problem. Is you're an automatic
Scream.
recorder. You can't
I
stop your
just see like
automation.
four lesson plans, red, this, or spare, all kind of shit. I'm literally not even paying attention to this shit.
Well, your brain works
It's
differently
not
than
even
mine.
on my mind.
I get the
Not
feeling though that everything you hear is being automatically recorded, whether you like it or not, because you can't hear it and listen to it and understand it unless it's being recorded.
true. I don't have anywhere to put all that fucking. Yeah, but he hears like when you hear like the bickering that he gets in his room. Like yesterday morning before lunch, the room was.
Get back to my bottle there. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart.
Gentlemen, can I interrupt and ask you a question? How do you slow down time? Do you have any theories on that question? How do you slow time down?
Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown.
Yes, good morning. Dr. Oscar America, I want to pray for you. And I'd also, before I pray for you, I'd like Doctor to pray for all of us.
Which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, Some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing. Gentlemen, Oscar, Doc, XO, this is Books. I want to just interrupt because time is limited. I love you all, and I want to make a prayer for you all. If I could possibly read just a couple verses of a prayer I wrote for you. It's specifically for the Clown House Room, and
I thank you all so much. Oscar, Doc, Exo, thank you for your time. And just let me know if you'd like me to proceed.
With a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes. Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight Then a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles.
What is it good for?
Anti-inflammatory, good for the heart, blood pressure.
Your uterus too. Like I drink it because of cramps and like easier blood flow whenever I'm on my menstrual cycle.
Yeah, it's a good vasodilator.
So yeah, it does help a lot. And on top of that, it's like naturally sweet, so you don't add nothing to it. I drink it black. I drink all my tea black.
Well, remember, Miss Parker, remember?
Earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious.
Excuse me, Dr. Oscar. So if I could just interrupt, I am a gout sufferer, and a doctor has helped me with my inflation problems. Not my inflation, I'm sorry, my inflammation problems. Thank you, doctor. And I appreciate you so much, doctor. You've been such a great blessing to me medically, my wellness, my health, and I love you very much, doctor. Thank you. You've helped improve my health greatly.
The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow.
Doctor, I want to interrupt you real quick. I have a question for you. I have a sty in my eye. Is that also inflammation, doctor?
Some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and lied, for she sleeps the cotton to her other breast. Upon her silken avalanche of down, dying she breathes a long and swooning sigh, and watches the white visions past her flown, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. And when at times, wrecked in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow, some pious poet, enemy of sleep, takes in his hollow hand the tear of snow, whence gleams of iris and of opal start, and hides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles Baudelaire. The moon more indolently dreams tonight than a fair woman on her couch at rest.
Not want to have a real conversation. Again, remember, we always have to break it down to the center of gravity. And those truths, right, those truths tend to be physical. So when you look at Hamas within Gaza Strip, right, Hamas is on the back foot. They don't have military options anymore. When you look at Iran, they're never going to enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are truths. These are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
Okay, all right. I heard what you said. Yeah, again, you're right about that you would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out, head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence dictionary.
So let me ask you this question. You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from? And
it would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another room coming up in this clubhouse. You would be the mod for sure. It would be a response. There's no doubt about it. There would be a response.
Enter into this battle space directly. I'm not laughing at that. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly under their protection. Right now, this is a good conversation. That is a significant position of fear. And these are truths. These are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable. That's what you think. Okay, that's your opinion. I guess that's not my opinion. No, it is your opinion. It's not my opinion. It's your opinion.
That's true. I mean, the reason is very
obviously. I'm not asking for the reason. No, we're not getting to that point yet.
But that's different.
You have a position which Iran is going to respond directly as a result of the killing
that was the intelligence
of the Hamas leader in Iran. You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from? Okay.
It would be directly from Iran. And
again,
another room coming up in this clubhouse. You would be the mod for sure. It would be a response.
Enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are truths. These are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
Once it acted on American soil,
yeah, again,
and went
you're
after
right
people
about
on American
that,
soil,
you would
it might
undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon.
But didn't
But that's different than taking out, head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you're right. That was the intelligence dictionary.
Let me ask you this question. You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another room coming up in this clubhouse. You would be the mod for sure. It would be a response.
Enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are truths. These are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
I heard what you said. Again, you're right about that. Undermines Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out, head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence dictionary.
You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this clubhouse, you would be the one for sure. It would be a response. There's
to enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly, under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these aren't tricks, these are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
They took out the leader of the
I heard what you said. Again, you're right. That you would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence picture.
Let me ask you this question. You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this clubhouse. You would be the one for sure. It would be a response. There's
Enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly, under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are troops, these are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
okay. I heard what you said. Again, you're right about that you would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence picture.
Let me ask you this question. You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this clubhouse. You would be the one for sure. It would be a response. There's
Enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly, under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are troops, these are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
It's how they're showing
I heard what you
power
said.
and
Again,
how
you're right
Israel is
about
preparing.
that you would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence picture.
Let me ask you this question. You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this clubhouse. You would be the one for sure. It would be a response. There's
Enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly, under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are troops, these are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
I heard what you said. Again, you're right about that you would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence picture.
Let me ask you this question. You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this clubhouse. You would be the one for sure. It would be a response. There's
Enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly, under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are troops, these are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
I heard what you said.
The guy
again, you're right about that. That we would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with response very soon. But that's different than taking out head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence issue.
You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this clubhouse. You would be demoted for sure. It would be a response. There's
To enter into this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly, under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are troops, these are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
I what you said. Again, you're right about that. That you would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence issue.
You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this clubhouse. You would be demoted for sure. There would be a response.
Enter this battle space directly. Now we have proven to them that we can get a target within their belly, under their protection. That is a significant position of fear. And these are troops, these are empirical, evidence-based statements that are non-negotiable.
And what you said, again, you're right about that. That you would undermine Iran's security. That's true. And that obviously comes with a response very soon. But that's different than taking out head of Hamas. If it was Yahya Sinwar, you were right. That was the intelligence issue.
You said it comes with a response very soon. Who do you think the response will be from?
It would be directly from Iran, and you would expect another one coming up in this club.
Back in 2000.
Yeah, what was the message? I think the message is similar
The
to this
message was very clear. I can tell you, Abby, I remember. But the message was, if you respond, 52 sites, and you can fact check me on that, we will target 52 sites. Any response from Iran will trigger U.S. to target 52 sites. Underline the word 52. Iran did respond by attacking the Al Ain base in Baghdad, I think, and there was another base in Kurdistan. So the Iranians respond. I mean, that was the first time after the Second World War a nation-state attacked U.S. I mean, that was a response. Trump was bluffing. I mean, they should have done something. That's actually what Biden said too in his campaign with Trump. He says, "Why didn't you do anything? You said if Iran's respond, you're going to do this and that, but you didn't do anything. You would show the weakness."
How's the mood in Iran, Soren? Can you report us what's happening in Iran?
I don't know. I don't think.
What is the wait?
So hold on, Biden said that should be the response, but yet we've had 4 attacks in 3 days and Biden's done nothing. This has happened. So President
He hasn't even talked about. He hasn't even talked
He's
about
high enough.
what's happening
Let
in Golan.
the old man be old.
Biden said that Trump should have done something. Done with Biden, okay? But he's the president now, and we've had 4 attacks in 3 days, maybe more now. Last time I looked and read, but nothing. In the last time we had this happen, he did nothing for how many attacks, and then we finally lost somebody, had some people hurt, damaged, killed, whatever. Why are we waiting? So I'm going to say that if we want to use the narrative that Biden at one point said Trump should have done something, I agree. Trump should have. If you say you're going to do it, America says needs to be the type of country that says when we say something, we need to do it. Why? Because you set a precedence that we're going to have follow through. It's no different than parenting. When you tell your kids we're going to take your phone away and you don't, game over, your kids win. Now you take the phone away, guess what? Your kids listen next time you say clean your room or next time take out the trash, because otherwise they lose their phone for a week. That's what America should have done. Should have done it then, and they should have set a standard. If anybody that attacks our bases, we will levy unprecedented damages for whomever's responsible. And that's what we should do. And Iran can say that, okay, we didn't take it. Whoever did this didn't target Iran. They targeted a person that, let's just say it's Israel, was in war with. He's their leader. Okay, so now if Iran comes back and targets it, me as the outside looking in says, well, this just tells me that you're really upset that your head guy got taken out. Now it ties them that much more to it. And I'm not saying that that's exactly the way he thinks. I'm looking at it from a layman's terms, from the outsider.
You are right that they didn't attack Iran, but they made Iran look like a clown, because they weren't able to stop that attack. So it's like they're gonna probably take offense into what happened in their country.
Crawled in the belt.
I mean,
It's like if you're with your woman, with your wife or your girlfriend, and somebody goes and insults her. They didn't do that to you. They did that to your girlfriend, and it's like, hey, I'm not gonna let this happen because if you do it to her, you do it to me. Something like that. It's what I feel that.
I think
they're gonna.
Was it Yaakov Meir says that Iran will respond? It will not create a deterrent. Can Yaakov explain to me what would be the deterrent look like to him? If Iran wants to go that path, if he says they're not capable, imagine hypothetically they're capable, and what would be that deterrent look like if they want to go that path? What Iran would do that he would say that was a creating deterrent? Explain that.
I just want to say hello to Rode.
Hey, real quickly. Yakov.
Salam wa rahmatullahi.
I had
You are in a very quiet area.
Go ahead, Yaakov.
No, Marvin. I just wanted to speak.
Oh, you wanted to respond to what I said? Okay.
no, I wanted to completely. I just wanted to create. I wanted to do an intermission here that Isa and Yakov are gonna laugh really hard. I was on the train and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden one of my exes sits down next to me. I was like, oh my god.
That's amazing.
I was like, oh.
What would be wrong?
When
Oh, I know this is
do that, Marvin?
I could not believe it. She was like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? And so we were just talking. It was quite strange. I think we're going to probably talk, but it was quite strange. So anyway, I thought that would be a laugh for you.
What did you do? Did
Your
you
laugh
greet
is
her?
funny, bro. I'm dying
Speaking of
over
which,
here on
you need
mute.
to fill us
Don't
in
do
on
it,
that,
Marvin.
Marvin, you need to fill us in on whether there was a second date, but we'll get to that.
Second date, second.
Right. But this one was this girl. She and I had kind of a whirlwind relationship, and I was the one that jumped out. So I kind of feel bad. But there's a lot of more to the story. So we'll see what happens.
She came to sit next to you on the train.
Yeah, she just sat. She was, the door open, and she got in, and she kind of looked at. I kind of first, I'm like, what? Because of course I was just checking her out, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, look who it is.
They call those
I didn't realize it.
They call those stalkers, Marvin. Don't fall for it.
Marvin, you picked up a random stranger?
No.
Long distance relationship.
I was sitting in the train, and the door opened, and this girl walks in, and so I was kind of just checking her out, only to realize it was one of my exes.
So, okay, we can go on this.
Yeah, please.
I actually think I usually really hate Ben-Gvir, but one thing that I agree with him is that I think Israel should have never tried to go to the negotiation table. Maybe just for political optics. But
Yeah, you have to.
Never go Maybe just for political optics. Maybe just for political optics, but in general, sorry.
Should they just go out fighting? Don't negotiate? Just keep on fighting?
Negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, because there is not real negotiations. Israel's demands are too strong for Hamas, and Hamas demands are too strong for Israel. So they will never go to some type of a resolution between themselves.
I have a question.
Israel wants them to release all the hostages and also to lay down their weapons, meaning giving their weapons and demilitarize Gaza. That would never happen.
And Hamas would
Hamas-
completely be out of Gaza.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, yeah. And Hamas
Just let it
yeah, once again,
finish.
Hamas.
Let me talk.
But once again, and Hamas wants to retain, and Hamas wants to, basically release a lot of their prisoners in Israel, and also to retain power in Gaza, right? After all of that happens. So both of those things just are not coinciding, and those are like red lines. Those are not like some things that one can negotiate.
So what's the solution?
And this is why just finish off Hamas.
Yeah, not negotiate with
How
terrorists.
is he gonna do
Whatever
that?
you want to do with
And
military,
how is he gonna
with
do
military
that?
force. With military
Sorry?
force.
Paul,
How
did
you
you
gonna
just
eliminate?
Paul, did you just wake up?
Little by little, tunnel by tunnel, weapon storages by weapon storages.
Do you know
And
anybody in Gaza?
head of Hamas by head of
And what do you
Hamas.
think
This is-
about? What do you
Do
think
you have any
about?
relatives,
Wait, I have a
any
question.
Israelis in Gaza? By any chance? I mean,
Yes.
really, you don't.
I have a
Yes,
question.
why? So,
You don't.
why?
Wait, Paul wanted to say something. Sorry, you're like very rude. Paul, what did you want to say?
Yeah, Paul.
Personally, I am not a supporter of Israel, but that does not mean that I'm disrespecting y'all. So y'all also don't have to disrespect me, okay? So
No one will disrespect you as long as you are concise and not
yes,
insulting
alright,
anyone.
perfect.
Go ahead.
Okay. What do y'all think about Netanyahu being judged by the international court? Yeah, the international court.
Nobody cares.
He's not. By the way.
How do you mean nobody cares? Like, how can you?
Few things.
Because nobody respects.
Just to answer it quickly, it didn't happen, okay? So no one is now, like you're talking about something that might happen. It didn't happen, so we can wait until it will happen.
It happened.
No, there was a request for arrest warrants that are still not.
Does everybody
still not
appeal
approved.
to like international courts? I just don't understand it.
Those are
Oh, but
optics.
when
So
did
that
y'all
they-
think-
Secondly, the international courts literally don't do anything. Thirdly, there was like an opinion piece of the ICJ, but not like a ruling. And so I don't know, Paul.
And we see the ICJ as a political entity, not as really like a place of justice. I mean, you look at the head of the ICJ. I mean, the head of the ICJ, the judge, used to be the Lebanese UN. How do you call it? The UN.
How about
person
the rest of the judge, Daniel?
Hold on, sorry.
Karim Khan.
Hold on. This
Karim
person
was the prosecutor.
voted. Hold on, Soren. Can you hold on 1 second? He voted against Israel more than 200 times. So if it would be a normal court of law, he would have to excuse himself or get himself out of the case due to
Recuse himself.
Sorry,
But he was only
Recuse
one.
himself.
Daniel, there were 15 other judges.
recuse himself.
There was. He was
Yeah,
not
but the
only
fact is,
sole judge, it was
I
15
understand, but I understand, but you need to understand what I'm trying to say is
One.
that this is not like
Yeah.
I understand. So
What about the
can
rest of the 14? What's
Oh my
his
God.
Soren, listen, I will tell you this once, okay? You don't need to repeat what you say 7 times,
Sorry.
especially after the first time when we try to answer you, you try to add more content, but you don't. You just say the same thing 7 or 8 times. I already asked you this before. Stop repeating yourself. We are not slow like the people that you used to talk to. We get it fast. It's enough that you say 1 time, but just
don't
be
say
accurate on the
Daniel.
first
I
time.
say to the audience.
That's it.
I
Now,
say to
let
the
me
audience.
finish what I said. What I'm saying is, yes, but also the audience are not stupid, okay? And they heard you once, twice, it's enough. So, what I'm saying is that in a normal court, a person like this would recuse himself out of conflict of interest, okay? This is a political court. It's not about right and wrong and about justice. And I understand that it's in your best interest because you hate Israel, but this is a double-sided sword. It might bite you in the ass. We need those institutions to be unbiased, to be loyal to the truth and not to political gains. And I think those people that are supporting, I think those people that are now supporting the ICJ because it's against Israel are basically shooting in their own legs.
Take a cold water.
When the ICJ
What about the other 14
when
judges?
the
You don't
ICJ
respond to what I said.
No, wait.
They reflect.
Listen.
One at a time.
Everyone mute up. If you
want to talk, you're gonna do it when nobody's talking.
I mean, the reason
Why
that
is
I,
this
Lisa, have to repeat myself is that Daniel
No, you don't have to repeat yourself.
intentionally deflect what I say. That's why I have to repeat to him. What about
And
the other
listen,
14 judges?
before you answer to that, I actually want to ask Abby something. She's a lawyer and she understands a lot about these things. So I want to ask Abby about this International Court of Justice and other international organizations. Am I right to say that they don't have they don't have priority over the sovereignty of a country? And what do you think will happen if this ends up happening with Netanyahu?
Well, first of all, the United States isn't respecting their sovereignty or their jurisdiction. And the United States has rejected it, and so has other countries. I mean, I'd have to look at the other countries that line out. I think the UK was one of them. So, there's two courts. So what the court that has been, that was filed through South Africa, and I believe maybe, I don't know if Ireland joined in, is a different tribunal. But in terms of what they can do, I mean, ultimately, if a country goes through the true Hague and through the International Criminal Court in The Hague, they can put sanctions or recommend sanctions internationally against a country. But this is not the court that you were talking, that was originally going after Israel, which was the pressure that came from Amal Clooney, and that came from South Africa, was not one that the United States was recognizing.
But you say that they can recommend sanctions. Does that mean that the ICJ does not supersede the sovereignty of the countries and that they have to agree on those sanctions?
Yeah, they'd have to agree. They'd have to agree.
So the ICJ cannot order something to happen. They can recommend, right?
They can
People have
recommend.
to agree.
There's no world government.
Correct. That's the reason why I wanted to make it clear, because it seems like a lot of people think that because the word international is there and the World Court of Justice is there, that they are all of a sudden the rulers of the world and that everybody has to bow to them.
No,
like
you know what it is? I'm gonna explain to you. These are the same institutions, yeah, or organizations that helped y'all get the country y'all have today, alright? So,
no, Paul.
They didn't exist back then. They didn't exist back then. I'm sorry.
They didn't exist. Paul, these are organizations.
Wait, International Court did not exist 50 years ago.
50 years ago, there are no reason why countries exist.
It did not exist.
Paul,
Let me talk. Like, you don't even let me talk.
You know what?
Right?
How old is Israel?
Daniel, one of the judges was a Holocaust survivor. He was actually Israeli. I don't know why you don't
it
talk about
doesn't matter where
I
he's
know
from.
that.
He can
I know
be.
that. Why don't you talk about him? Because it doesn't fit your narrative?
No, this is an interim judge. One of the judges
One
is
judge
an
only. Only one
Why
judge.
did you
You
have
don't talk
that?
about the Holocaust survivor that happened to be a judge.
No, it is.
Wow.
Listen, he voted
against
I repeated this and I will try to answer you. I will try to answer you after one thing, just to answer what Soren tried to say now 3 times. The judge is an Israeli judge and he voted against, okay? And you are talking about the ICJ. They were talking about the ICC before, but ICJ, the head of the panel is a Lebanese, and because it was about Israel, there was an interim judge from Israel, Aaron Barak, who is a Holocaust survivor, and he voted with, what's the country? I forgot the name for it. I forgot the name. That they voted against, okay? So I have no problem with him because he voted against.
Yeah, it's not the final decision, but one judge. All of the judges, like a democracy, I don't know what what democracy is. 15 judges vote, so majority says yes. So it's not only one judge final
Yeah,
decision.
but
Again,
So
it
you're
is
talking
not.
about one guy, which
I'm saying, and what I'm saying is, I'm saying that it's political. You know what? Even the Israeli judge
to issue the warrant for President Putin as well. Was that also a political?
Hold on, sorry. Even the Israeli judge is, you could say that he's political because he's the one voting against it. So it's not about what is true and what is right and what is wrong. It's about politics, and that was
So
exactly
there's
my
never
point.
right or wrong. So there's never right or wrong, basically. That's what you're saying.
No, it is not what I'm saying. There is right and wrong. I don't think that the ICJ or the UN are bodies that are loyal to what's right and wrong.
Okay, who is
Politics,
this?
right and wrong.
Who is?
Israel.
Who is?
Israel, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Our superior.
Israel.
Everything. In every level, our superior.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing, Daniel,
Okay,
alright?
go.
And then I'm gonna leave. I wanna say one thing, alright?
Okay.
Listen, the Jewish people, like, y'all even betrayed your own prophet. Like, y'all are like the scum of the earth.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
the only
You
people,
know,
bro,
and you know, if you want to talk about right, you want to talk about right, you want to talk about right and wrong, Paul, you are on the wrong side of, you're on the wrong side of history. Because if you are a Jew hater, you are on the wrong. You know, I don't need the ICJ or the ICC to tell me that you are on the wrong side.
I'm a Zionist
Okay, you are on the wrong side.
I hate Zionist. I hate Zionist.
to speak like Earth with Earth.
I hate Zionist people. I hate Zionists.
You hate Jews.
You don't know what a Zionist is.
I'm from the Earth. Grow the fuck up, man.
Good riddance. God bless you all. Except
Paul-
Soren. Take that flag down, Soren. You're not a Jap.
Let him have whatever he has. He has the
No,
right to have whatever he wants.
I agree, but I do think we should not make personal attacks on people on the stage. I don't want to hear, in my own opinion,
So, Yaakov,
idiots
you went
calling
away.
people names.
Jacob, I had asked you a question. You were away. You said that
I
you
was
want
away.
to respond.
Darn,
not
shut the
create a
fuck
deterrent.
up.
What would be the deterrent
Stop
look like to you,
interrupting
Jacob?
people, Soren. Stop interrupting people.
There's no one. There's no interpreter. Yes.
Yes,
Jacob
I'm
is in the middle of
talking.
speaking, you dumb fucking shit.
Wow, that's how the
This is-
Zionists grew up. By the way.
Okay,
That's
exactly that.
that's my
exactly
point.
That is what Jacob is saying. So
Right.
there are only two rules in these rooms. One is no personal attacks, and the second is no call for violence. You
There's a
do
third
one
one.
of the two, and this is the only time we're gonna say it. You do one of the two, and you're gonna be either moved to the audience or thrown out, depending on how bad the insult was.
Okay.
Including in the chat. Including in the chat.
That's
The
right.
chat. I don't want to hear people
You can-
talking about people's private parts.
You
in
can
the chat.
say what? No. Personal attacks, yeah. Like you can say whatever you want. I don't care what your opinion is. There is there's space for everyone to disagree. It doesn't matter. Attack the argument, not the person.
Jacob,
Correct.
you said Iran will respond. They will not create a deterrent. But if they want to go
Wait,
that
what,
path,
what did I say they would respond to?
for what happened yesterday,
I said they wouldn't respond.
No, you said
The
they wouldn't
opposite.
create a deterrent. You said they wouldn't create a
Deterrent to what? Deterrent to what? What are they supposed to
to
deter?
violations of the sovereignty. I don't know. It was you, Mayor, says that Iran will
I
not.
did not say anything about.
Who was coming up with the definition of deterrent, by the way? Was it you or Mayor?
I didn't. I don't know who. I can't
Oh, okay,
say.
all right.
Mayor
Oh.
did it.
Okay. Someone was saying that deterrent is this, so Iran will respond. They will not create a deterrent. Creating deterrent is something else that it will make Israel think twice to do it. So I was curious to know if Iran want to go that path of creating deterrence, what that deterrence look like.
Fear.
Fear
towards. By the way, I just got a report. Hang on a second. I just got a report from the FBI that the guy who shot Trump was an anti-Semite. This is coming. You guys are going to get the notification.
Yeah, I read
So there
all
you
that.
go.
They
That's
they
what we're
finally
doing.
dug into his
He was
social
a
media.
Democrat.
and
They got into his
He was
Gap
a-
account.
They got, and it was like 2019. He posted all kinds of horrible anti-Semitic stuff. And yes, he was a Democrat.
Wait, which account did they get into?
Was it
Yeah.
a Facebook account?
The shooter.
Yeah,
The shooter.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah,
a Democrat.
like Norm has been saying it all this time. He yelled "Free Palestine" before he shot.
Before he pulled
Oh
the trigger,
my
he
god,
yelled
I'm
3
so
pounds.
shocked. I'm so shocked.
With what?
With him being a liberal leftist.
No, he's an anti-Semite.
He's a cancer.
Like some people on the stage that we deal with. all the time.
Simon, we're not gonna do therapy.
White
today.
supremacists, that's a problem, you know.
Not today.
Who's
Leftist.
the white? The guy that shot Trump is a white supremacist?
It was white.
He's a white supremacist, and Paul is an Arab supremacist that says Jews are rats.
I am not
In
an
the
Arab.
comments. Yeah, you
I'm not
are.
an Arab.
I hear your
I
fucking
swear to God, I'm
accent.
not. I'm
Don't
Persian.
fucking lie. Okay, I hear your accent.
You're in the Matrix.
I'm Persian, right?
Paul, do you have anything actually interesting and of value to add, or are you just going to be a boy with emotions in the room?
No, I want to say something.
You already said Jews are rats in the comments.
I mean,
what else do you have to say?
Oh, yeah, as a Semite. Got it.
I'm not.
All right, I said no insult, so everybody say goodbye to Paul.
No, I didn't say anything.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hey,
Who's
guys.
next?
Hey guys. No, I'm not next. I'm gonna behave, I swear. Evie, would you please check your personal messages?
I did. I sent you one back just now.
Oh,
Is that Andre talking?
Yes.
So Daniel, what do you think about what I said? What that deterrence look like to you if you want to go that path? Oh, obviously someone said it. I don't know who.
Who's
But
deterrent?
I don't think there is a deterrent. So because deterrent from what? I mean, we are not attacking Iran out of the blue. Okay, we're not attacking Iran because we have something against Iran specifically. We are doing a defense war, and there is no deterrent that would prevent us from defending ourselves. Yeah. Zero, null,
but
nothing.
you could have taken up in Qatar. You specifically used Iran rather than taking that in Qatar or Turkey. So that comes with the implications. So if they want to go that path of creating deterrence, so Israel not do that again, not respond through its allies in the region, what did that deterrence look like to you?
The only way that if they don't want us to retaliate against them, they could say we are backing off from this.
So that's not a deterrent. That's not a deterrent, though. That's submission.
That will prevent us. So this is what I said. There is no deterrent that will prevent Israel from defending itself. When you want to do a deterrent, is to prevent someone from attacking or from committing something that will hurt you, whatever. You cannot deter us from defending ourselves. I don't see anything that you can do that will do that.
There's one thing, but it would take too long, and they can't do it, which is to create a missile defense system or any kind of defense system to protect themselves, and they're not capable of doing that anytime in the next 25 years.
What about taking out one of the officials in Israel?
It will not be a deterrent.
That's not deterrence. That's war. That's an act of war. That's not deterrence. Deterrence is preventing Israel from doing something.
How about going nuclear?
Well, seeing as the Ayatollahs came out with a position piece through an Islamic court last year that says it is fine within Islam to create a bomb as deterrence, but never to use it. So even Iran themselves, for whatever it's worth, have claimed they would never use it, but they would create one as a means of deterrence.
Exactly. What if it goes with a testing one?
And I would claim that using a nuclear bomb is not a deterrent.
As a test. What if you go with testing it? Not using it against Israel, testing it in the middle of the war.
No, listen, I don't understand. Like, first of all, go ahead, do it as a test. I want to remind you that they are not the only nuclear power in the area. Second of all, I think it will kind of expose them because Palestinians are very close to us. You cannot hit Israel with a nuclear bomb without hitting
they're not going to hit Israel. What you're dealing here with is just creating deterrence. Meaning that they have to go that
In
path.
order to create a deterrence, you have to be prepared to use it, and there's no way that they would use it, so therefore it's not a deterrence. It's a logic gap. Okay?
So you think that if they have a bomb,
they're never going to use it. They're never going to. They would destroy Jerusalem?
No, but it can be a small bomblet, a little one. It doesn't have to be that disruptive.
Sorry, please. Sorry, this is just ridiculous.
It could be a little nuclear bomb.
Hold on. There are suitcase nuclear weapons. The U.S.
bomblets, like nuclear bomblets.
There are nuclear suitcase weapons, but let's be real, they're not.
Why are we being used to crowdsource deterrent options for the Iranians? Why are we
We're not coming
having
up with
this
anything
conversation?
they couldn't have thought of already. The reality is they won't. So let's just move on.
And Soren, if they were just to show their, if they were just to use a little one, as you say, that wouldn't show shit. That wouldn't show how strong they are. So either they use it or they don't. But it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna show you a little bit. No, they have the big one, and then it's like, yeah, if you make me use it, it's gonna be because I'm really mad. So don't make me use it.
Yeah, but I agree that they're not going to
That's
use
what's
it.
called
I
deterrent.
agree with that narrative. But for sure, if it's going to be pushed, they have to test it in their own soil rather than use it against Israel. Because you're right, there are so many Muslim Arabs, Jerusalem's there, Hamas is obviously not going to use it there. But to create deterrence, one of the way would be just to test it, to show the world, to show the strengths that don't mess up with us again. I mean, that would be one of the options that I could.
Well, I'm glad that you get that. I'm glad that you get what the messages are. That's exactly the message that was delivered yesterday with the leader of Hezbollah and today with the leader of Hamas. So I hope that the message was gotten, was understood, and that they understand that they cannot keep fucking up with Israel.
Do you, by the way, do you think you will hear like some calls that Israel genocided the Yazidi war?
What do you mean?
You're quite naive.
They don't know his whereabouts. That's the problem. They don't even know where he is. This guy, Ismail Haniyeh, he's out there. He's a public figure. He's like, it's not like he's a hideout. Everyone knows where he lives. He's got an address. So there's no intelligence.
Not that everyone knew where he lived. Actually, we still didn't see any photos. Actually, I think even right now we don't have any photos.
He didn't have a strike. Wow.
No. The photo of the strike.
No, I'm talking about.
You talk about
where he came from or stuff like that.
When he was living in Qatar, you mean? When he was living in Qatar?
No. When he lived in Iran right now.
In Tehran, okay.
The guy's a public figure. Everyone knows where he is. Even when he was in Doha, he was not like Yahya Sinwar in a hideout. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? There's no intelligence superiority here. So he's just more symbolic.
Honestly, there is.
There's a consumption. That was for domestic consumption in Israel. So what we're doing something.
No, why domestic consumption? Why do you think it's domestic consumption in Israel?
Well, because because the reason is very clear. Up to 9 months, 10 months, the real persons behind this is Yahya Sinwar. He didn't manage to get to him.
No.
This guy's political. He's not in the.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for us. Like, dude, we said from day one that all the Hamas members have a target on their heads. Especially the leaders. Of course, Haniyeh was a target.
Do you agree that you could have taken out 8 months ago for Israel?
No, it wasn't. No, I think there was an agreement with Qatar that it will not be done on their soil.
What's the agreement with Turkey?
With Turkey, it's something else. With Turkey, I guess they didn't want to upset Erdogan.
Okay, what about in the middle? He was also traveling all around. It was not only in Turkey and Qatar. He was traveling all around.
Right.
No, he wasn't. He was sitting duck in Qatar. What are you talking about?
So they could have.
No, it was also in Egypt and it was also in Turkey. You're right. We chose to do it.
He's like,
he's not listen, he's not really a public figure. There's a reason why he's not in Gaza, right? He's the leader of the Gazans, but he's not in Gaza. He's traveling the world because he's on a.
The top negotiator, for the lack of a better word. He was
negotiating. The guy that we targeted yesterday in Lebanon has been on the most wanted list of the United States with a $5 million bounty on his head since the 80s. Since the 80s, you know, and we got it. So the fact that someone is a public figure. Yeah, but I'm giving you as an example the fact that someone is a public figure doesn't accomplish.
Does the U.S. government send a $5 million
Daniel, congratulations, you killed the one person. What did it accomplish? What did it accomplish?
It accomplished
you already killed the Sheikh Yassine. You already killed a lot of the leadership. What happened?
Right, I was just
and you have a target.
Hold on.
You asked the question.
You
asked the question.
Hold on. I want one mic in my head. I couldn't hear what he was saying because everybody's talking on him.
I wish, I think the only way I can speak in these rooms is that I have to raise my voice. First of all, Isa, you're quite naive, and as well to you, Daniel. One person, I'm speaking by the way.
It's not a personal attack. It doesn't matter. Just let him talk.
I'm bloody speaking. I know you don't like me, so.
No personal attacks, Malik. It's what you say.
Oh my God!
Shut your mouth.
Naive is the personal attack.
Go clean some more toilets.
Naive is not a personal attack. Thank you for trying to get Shut up.
Guys,
Thank you for trying to get offended on my behalf. It's okay. Malek, go ahead.
Yeah, everybody wants wants to be a Superman. Okay, so I'll say it again. Isa, Daniel, you're quite naive. Every time, like a leader gets, oh, they'll fall apart. Oh, this is the end. Oh, they don't know what to do. And by the way, an even stronger leader comes. Before the one who got assassinated. For example, Sheikh Yassin, when he got assassinated, oh, this is the end. I was just looking up like the news back in 2005. The same exact thing. What we're doing right now, just on repeat. Truly, history does repeat itself. Yeah, and then okay, congratulations. You killed. I forgot his name. Ismail Haniyeh. So yeah, Ismail Haniyeh. So what did it accomplish? Tell me, what did it accomplish?
I would actually
Danielle, guys, Danielle is speaking. Danielle is the one who's speaking, not you.
Right. This is a question for Daniel. So
And you as well.
An answer. When we killed
No, you mentioned me and Isa, but hold on. No, I'm trying to answer. Hold on. So first of all, no one said when we targeted Yassin, by the way, a few times, that it's game over, okay? Like, I'm Israeli, it was never said that it's like, it's over. The idea of targeting them is to have like a personal price. If you can see, Ismail Haniyeh is living in a 5-star hotel in Qatar. He has billions in his bank account. He is not suffering in Gaza, okay? He cares for Ismail Haniyeh. So we need to make sure that people also know that it's not so profitable to do terrorism, and you cannot only sacrifice your own people, but your own life will be at risk. Now, when you take out a senior person, yes, someone else will replace them, but someone with less experience, with less connections, and with less capabilities. Probably, maybe even Khaled Masha will go back and replace Haniyeh. He was previously the head of Hamas. The idea is, yes, to create deterrent, to pass a message that we can get to you, even if you are far away, doing like we have eyes on you and we can target you at any moment. That is basically the message. Be afraid. Be afraid. Be very afraid. That is the message. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I would like to reply before Isa responds. Yeah, like normal speaking. Danielle, so stop making assumptions. There won't be any deterrence. This won't end. Buddy, it won't end. The only way they can end it is you kill all 2 million, not even all like 7 million Palestinians who live from the river to the sea. This won't end. It won't. Okay. Stop being naive.
What is it?
And the second assumption, let me finish. One sentence. And the second assumption, oh, somebody with less experience will come. How would you, buddy, if you know something, say it. If you have an opinion, at least say, maybe somebody with less experience will say it. Just don't say it like a blatant, oh, somebody with less experience will come. You don't know, buddy, you don't know.
So let's talk about it.
Even the Mossad don't know. How come the Shabbat?
I will tell you, because I will tell you, the guy that we killed yesterday was 30 years at the organization, okay? We know exactly what he did, and we know exactly what he was planning, like, throughout the years. So, if you take out a guy with a 30 years experience, there are not so many other people at high positions with 30 years of experience. That is, you don't need to be a Shabbat or Mossad to know this, it's just common sense. And it's okay to disagree, but I wanna ask you a question back. You said that it will not resolve because we need to kill 7 million, yada yada. What do you think will resolve?
You want to
tell me what you think will?
Yes. You want to know? Palestinians have equal rights as Israelis.
They do.
What's the solution?
Problem solved. They do.
What do you mean equal rights? What do you mean in Israel? In Israel, they should have equal rights.
Whatever it's called, you can call it.
Malek,
and who is responsible for this?
can you explain, Malek? You're saying they both have equal rights. In what sense and where?
Equal rights, equal voting rights, equal.
So if they have their own governments, why have to do with us? If like they had voting, they voted in Gaza and they had an election in the West Bank, right? They had an election.
Yes, you answered it. We had the same question. Don't go to somewhere else before I finish.
Bruh, you ain't got no head. They photoshopped your fucking headline on that bitch. That bitch makes you look like Steve Harvey, you fat fuck.
Oh, bitch. Why does fine ass look from Houston, right? Okay, he just so fine. Why? No, nobody talking to you, bitch. He not on Clubhouse. He not on Clubhouse, bitch. Girl. Okay.
Good morning, Oscar, Trent, Doc. This is Books. How's your day going, gentlemen and ladies?
Oh, my
Like,
bad.
you're just too damn ugly, like. Anyway, go live. Like, go live.
Hey, Barbie.
Go live.
Barbie, the number, the one person that actually brought me into Clubhouse almost 3 years ago now was Books from 3 years ago. But I came from Instagram, so if you want to know my Instagram, ask Books.
Look, skinny doc Instagram.
It's Doc Innovation. He met me because I read books, and he liked the book that I was reading.
Who just requested my Instagram SK with the shit?
I did.
Bitch, I'm not worried about your fat ass. Bitch, we just want you to go live. Since that's not you, but it is you, bitch.
I'm not
like, you're so insecure, you can't even claim your face. Like, bitch, you're insecure. Take your face and do what? Throw darts at it? Bitch, I would have donkeys at the gun range just to shoot at it.
I got a female that look way better than you right now.
Good for you. Good for you. Bitch, I don't want your black fat ass. Bitch, I'm not even into, bitch, I'm not into fat niggers, though. I don't do it.
Man, I'm about to go 2-1 on your ass. 2-1. I'm finna tell you like this. I got a bitch that look way better than you right now.
Okay, bitch, and all my niggas look better than you. Like, what are we getting at? Like, bitch, how they gonna use me for my mouth, bitch?
You too damn skinny to fuck on.
Right, I guess so. You too damn fat to fuck on. So what are you talking about? Why are we talking about getting fucked on, bitch? I'm gonna picture you fucking. Bitch, you too fat. Like, bitch, you probably be sweating on me.
Dude, the last time Trent saw his dick was when he was standing over.
Like, literally.
I'm not fat. I'm just
Fat as shit. Fat as shit. You black as fuck. You ugly as a motherfucker. Now you wanna bring fucks up here. Y'all, this is trending off of y'all. Damn, it's like, boy, fuck your ugly black ass. You're so insecure. You're just so insecure. Yeah, girl, thank you. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about making you mad. Look at how
Excuse me, moderators. This is Books. If I can interrupt this incredibly exciting bang room, moderators, I apologize for the brief interruption.
over here looking like a KFC mascot with his big black ass. As a fucking nigga.
Wow.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Dude. Hello? Hello? Nah,
When I say hello, you say hello? When I say hello, you say hello? When I say hello, you say hello?
Well, you threatened to fill a veteran with removing him from the room, and this is actually the person that brought me on to Clown House, and I'm pretty sure that I would kick your ass in real life.
See, this is what's called people power. Some people have power with people. Some people have no power with people. Some people have a lot of people power.
And I love talking shit about you.
Hello? 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 Alright, since you got the monkey mind, the brain of a monkey, I'm gonna sing one of my new hit songs. It's called Please Come Home Now. I've got beans and bologna. This one's for you, Doc. And this one's for you, Oscar. I'm singing this one for you, gentlemen, and Trend as well, maybe, and maybe just the moderators. This is my new hit single from my #1 record. Vote Donald Trump and go to the gym, fatties. Here we go. This is called Beans and Bologna. Please come home now. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Please come home now. I got beans and bologna. Please come home now. I got beans and bologna. Please come home now. I got beans and bologna. Okay, everybody, I want to thank you for listening to our 3-beat hit track from our newest album, Vote Donald Trump and Go to the Gym, Fatties. This is Books. I'm complete. I hope I was succinct.
Shut your ugly ass up, bitch. I really need to cook it on your fat ass, bitch. I'm gonna tell you stink, bitch. You look stink. What is wrong with you, bitch? The weak ass car, bitch. I'll have dogs shoot all your motherfucking dogs, bitch. I'll run a motherfucking dog over, bitch. And I'll chase you around, bitch. So you can lose some calories, bitch. Then run your fat ass over, bitch. What is wrong with you? Why he over there looking like he pregnant? Bitch, I'm
Please come home now. I got beans and bologna. Please come home now. I got beans and bologna.
Big fat ass bitch. Got your bitch. Wait, Oscar, he removing people.
Please come home now. I got beans and bologna.
And now this that's apartheid. Because
But
we put a wall up.
can we actually imagine what Israel would look like if the Palestinians actually took power over it? I mean, I don't think that they would make it better. I think that they would just turn it into shit. Like, what are we talking about here? You're talking about, like, these guys want to regress the land. What are they going to do with it? They look how are the countries where they live, and this of course with the exception of like Dubai and these other countries, you know.
Yes.
But like, it's terrible. So I don't know why they want to take possession of something. It's like my mom would call them like little stomachs, you know. Everything they're like a stomach. Everything they touch turns into shit. So it's sad. It's horrible. So if Israel takes Gaza and West Bank, and I'm not suggesting that this happens, but I'm sure that they will make it like Israel, it would flourish, you know? Yeah. Now, Palestinians take on Israel, God, it's gonna go back century or even...
I need to make a statement to the mobs in this room. You guys have to do a better job when you encounter these divisive individuals who are just here to sow confusion and dissonance. You need to immediately police them and move them to the audience. I respect the idea of like, okay, free speech and we want to give each other perspective, but he clearly said, just like El said, from the river to the sea, make no mistake, he's not here to harmonize. And you have to identify and move them immediately.
Overnight.
not here to harmonize. We're here to hear people's perspectives. If he wants to scream from the river to the sea, and there's people in the audience who've never heard that they can hear it straight from the horse's mouth and be able to hear how these people speak.
For a little bit, yes, but to leave him up for 20 minutes and then try to reason with him is not helping anything, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I think you have to do that. And
Abby, you're in the tunnel.
sorry, tunnel. You have to break down arguments. You have to do exactly what Daniel did and pull it out like the person sitting on a witness stand. You have to do it that way. Otherwise, he's right. You fall victim to just dogma and it's not healthy.
Abby, we
And you have
didn't
to
break
close
down
yourself.
anything. It was dissonant chaos. It was
No, but
cacophony.
I agree. Daniel finally pulled it out, but that's what you
No,
have to
he
do.
didn't pull it out. Malik was moved when Norm got on the mic. That's what calmed everything down. It wasn't like Daniel said something brilliant that unlocked Malik's mind. That's not what happened at all. He had to be moved.
I think Daniel's brilliant, and I think he does.
So do I. I love Daniel.
Listen, it's fine if you don't believe that these people should have a say. In the end, we're doing some of these rooms, well, actually to bring awareness, and the way that we do that is not by creating an echo chamber, but actually getting people to come on stage and speak. And the reason why it becomes very messy is because everybody wants to drive the fucking ship, and they don't understand that the people are driving.
Issa. We are at war.
The people
This is a
drive.
war.
No, you see, that's the reason why it gets chaotic, because people like you interrupting when somebody's talking. And so we got already here 5 people that are driving the conversation, that we know what we're doing, and we talk all the time amongst each other, and we know how to guide the conversations, but everybody wants to decide how this conversation should go. So yeah, we want to break it down with them. And if you want to go to an echo chamber, you're free to go and open your room and go to another place where you're talking all about the same thing. It's fine. That's not what we do here. We like to hear dissenting opinions. And actually, what we want to do is not just shout at each other. What we want to do is for the person to explain to us where they are coming from. And if they're able to make sense of what they're saying, because all they come to these rooms is just to say slogans all the time. Just slogans, but they don't know what they're saying. From the river to the sea, they don't even know what that means. They just say it because it sounds cool and it's everywhere in social media.
So we try to go deep, and when someone is kind of throwing slogans, and we try to kind of analyze each slogan and to go deep, and not to kind of be like moved by shiny objects that they keep on, like from the settlements to the West Bank, to Gaza, to the Balfour Declaration. You know, you said something, you said apartheid, you said ethnic cleansing, you said whatever. Let's talk about it, because as you said, we are at war, but there are 2 wars going on. One is a war that is on the ground, and the other is this information. Oh, I have a phone call. Hold on.
I think Malik fully knew what he was saying, river to the sea. He was hoping no one else knew what that meant. And he also knew that what he was really saying was there would be no juice in the land. He knew what he was saying. I think that's why it is helpful to let them hang themselves.
Correct.
Because once it's exposed, people can understand. They know fully what they're saying. He knew what he was saying. He hoped that the idiots wouldn't, down in the audience are like, oh, that sounds nice. Everybody lives together. No, that's not what he was saying. So they expose themselves eventually.
That's right. And this is a lot of this is the way, sorry, no, just very quickly. This is the way how a lot of people have come to the Israeli side, because they actually see how both sides act and react to certain things. And I see always the Israeli side, they're trying to make sense, and they give explanations and they give actual context of what's happening. It's an informed side. The other side, it's just trying to insult, it's just trying to come up with a lot of gotchas, which never work. And so they're just trying to create, to stir the shit in the rooms, but they don't have really any point.
want is that they're trying to normalize certain slogans that people use without thinking about them. In the early 70s, they had a slogan, Zionism is racism. Now, nobody really thought about it. What does this mean, Zionism is racism? What is Zionism? Nobody thought about it. Nobody wanted to. As Daniel said a moment ago, go deeper and think about it. Then they used the term apartheid. What is apartheid? It's a Dutch word. The South Africans spoke a kind of Dutch Afrikaans, and it meant apart, a system of apartness, because they took one race in South Africa and they separated them. Israel doesn't do that. Israel is a parliamentary democracy, fully integrated. The people who live in Judea and Samaria, the people who live in the West.
Charles Baudelaire, the moon ordinarily dreams tonight. The fair woman on her couch at rest, caressing with a hand distraught and light, before she sleeps the contour of her breast. Upon her silken elevage of down, dying she breathes the long and swooning sigh. It watches the white visions pace her throne, which rise like blossoms to the azure sky. In weary times, wrapped in a languor deep, earthward she lets a furtive teardrop flow. Some pious poet enviously takes in his hollow hand the tears. Snow, whence gleams iris in the opal start, tides it from the sun, deep in his heart. Charles Baudelaire. The Sadness of the Moon by Charles
Which means you're going into the situation. The minute I heard my first loves. Hands are too strong for you, I must admit. Hands are too strong. That's why I thought. The sand.
And then you have on policy too.
Or has a secret for.
Did you know that you can get your prep for free? Absolutely. Did you know that you can get your prep for free? Absolutely.
It's a matter of life that you know. I think the ladies love it. I think the ladies love you, sir. Just having a little bus. I think I feel like a. Daniel, wait, he actually does not answer. Yes, a bitch.
And I know you a bitch. I know you a pussy like you fucking autistic, you dummy.
Would you absolutely favor the rich? I mean, come on. Alright. Things that you can do. The show out there. Probably. Alright, Scott, we're going to continue your brainwashing.
The show that did given its disposition because the situations can be like how angry or how right. So like I think
I found out.
this back or it has me so what. You know, which is
All of that and all of this, now the virtue of the order. They were bred on Carol's general population. And if we had anything else.
Empire is a disease. Why?
Well, they forget which like capital group it is. South, what are you talking about? It's like. They actually have made.
In 1987,
Good. Like, two wars going on. One is war that is on the ground, and the other is disinformation.
Basically, he said that his biggest accomplishment is that he dismantled the Mossad within Iran. This is what happened 6 days later.
So he's basically the guy that we're talking about, this Amir, what's his name? Amir Ali Hashisha. He's in charge of a few units there, of the that is flying, like the rockets, like the long range and the short range, and also like what are those like so-called like a chopper, like I'm saying a so-called like a chopper. No, chopper is regular. Attack helicopter. Okay, so attack helicopter. Yeah. And they also have other planes, but basically this is what he's in charge of.
Attack helicopters?
Attack helicopters, missiles, long range and short range, like Shihab 3, Shihab 1, Shihab 2, rockets, missiles, and drones.
Does anyone know how it happened?
We don't know if it happened yet. But if it happened, it's great.
Alhamdulillah.
Like, we get our mojo back. This is like, they're happening one after another. Back in action.
Yeah. I was actually like super surprised by how strong the Israeli intelligence services are. Like to operate like literal like missiles from within Iran, that's an interesting thing.
I read maybe it was launched from the point in Iraq.
Yeah, so there are like two conflicting reports. One said that it might be from outside of Iran. One said that it is within Iran. So to be honest, I have no idea.
But you're right, it would be pretty. They are operating inside of Iraq, and that in and of itself. Launching it there, but doing it. That guy was wrong 6 days ago.
Yeah. No, but it's like super interesting that something like that happened literally 6 days after this comment.
So ChatGPT is not giving me anything about this guy, and I go on Google, but yeah, I get some expos and some things on Instagram, but it's not this guy. Who is it?
So the Aerospace Force also has like a wiki page, and also the commander of the Air Force, of the Aerospace Force, also has a wiki page. So maybe try through wiki, and then you will also have like at the bottom you have like links to resources that are related to him. So just write IRGC Aerospace Force, and then you will find like from there information also about the guy. Not a lot, but a bit.
I still find this.
I mean, I think it's photos. Sorry.
I still find the article from News 14, Hamas, have you left the chat? It's like such a funny title for a news article.
Well, they're not really a news channel, but fine.
They are considered to be a news channel. I hate them, but this was like so. That was so funny.
Yeah,
they chose this English title.
Because just like the bee, what is it called? No, the bee, the one that is sarcastic.
Fox News is a joke. I agree.
And the five are also funny. So those two I like. And of course, I adore Tucker Carlson, and I don't care what everyone says. But yeah, now he's on Fox, so I keep watching him. Actually, I think he has gotten much more interesting now that he's on his own, because he gets to make these 2-hour, 3-hour interviews. And it's so interesting.
So I just put an article in the chat.
Oh, let me check.
Tucker is also another leftist.
I love it that the meme. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh falls down. For loud pumping noises.
Can we have a room?
That's about that chunk, right?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna copy paste this. This is amazing. I think it's great.
Can we
Like
have a
the
room
trust
as to
thing.
why Tucker Carlson is a leftist?
What?
Can we have a room as to why Tucker Carlson is also a leftist?
Oh my god, you know what we're gonna do is that we're gonna do a GoFundMe, and we're gonna all chime in some money so that we can pay you therapy, and you can go and have a trauma dome somewhere.
Let's do it. I'll post my Venmo.
Dude, you need to stop. Do you dream of leftists as well, Simon? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
You need to be able to talk about other things.
I have nightmares all the time. These people kill me.
I made up a song. It's based off of an old pop song, Dookie Booty, but it's called Hootie Booty, Hootie Booty.
You gonna sing it for us?
I just did. Hootie Booty, Hootie Booty.
What's the next assassination?
Okay, there you go. I could put the whole thing, but there it is. Anyway.
Hey. I just had a creepy pickup situation.
Oh, tell us, Holly. How are you?
Alright. So real quick, I was in the grocery store, and I had picked up too many things. I didn't have a cart. And I'm assuming he's Mexican, but whatever. That's like fine. But Mexican dude behind me offered me his cart. I was like, oh, that's so nice. So I took his cart. He only had like one thing. little Spanish. So I was like, thanks. And he asked me my name. I was like, Holly. I'm like, mysterious. And then like, I'm like, all right, buen dia, And then like, he asks me if I'm married. Like, when I got into the car, he like was still asking me questions. And then I was like, yeah, I'm married. Bye. It's just like staring at me.
Holly, do we need to talk to your parents? They could pay attention that you don't have to talk to strangers.
Was he hot? Holly?
No, not at all was he hot. No, like, I don't know what he was thinking. Like, fucking delusional, dude. Like, fuck off.
I just want, on behalf of all Mexicans, Holly, stop it. A Mexican would not try to pick you. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing you.
No, I love Mexicans. Nothing against them. That's the first time. I mean, that was just a little creepy vibe, really. Like, anyway. I thought he was just being nice. My son's so fucking gullible.
It's funny. Thank you for sharing with us. I think sometimes these things kind of like give you a little boost, like, I still got it. I'm got it.
You know it. You want it.
Yeah, that is
a little bit. Like, don't try to help a woman with her. I'm sorry. Like, maybe if I had like a fucking big ass, I'm at Home Depot and I'm struggling with all my mind. Maybe, especially if you're with your wife, maybe. But please don't come up and help me with my groceries.
Holly, but if he was like hot, you wouldn't be saying this.
And if you were not married?
No, if he was like, if you were like not married and he was like sexy as fuck, you'd be like,
kids. Or
yes, you're like, oh my god, yes, kidding. And you'd be like, but how will I get to my apartment now? Oh my god.
But you know what? I think, okay, fair enough. But if he had said something, like, I guess if it was, even if he had said, would you like me to help you? Now I know there may be a language barrier, but like, if there's some way he could say, at least ask. Like, this dude just straight up grabbed my toilet paper and put it into my, proceeded to like put things in.
Wait, I have a question, Holly. Was he rocking the 90s cartel bullet? I gotta know.
Oh, no, there was no, like, suave, no, this was just, like, your average Mexican worker bee looking dude, like, not, like, I mean, just your average Joe.
Did you tip him?
Fuck no!
Maybe he was expecting a tip in other days.
Yeah. Next thing that starts washing my windshield.
Here's $5, just go.
Well, it happens to me. I don't know why, but I have a thing with Uber drivers. They all are like making all this conversation. Are you married? Do you have children? Oh, why are you here alone? Da da da. And it's horrible, dude. Like, they're all Muslims here in Switzerland. I don't know. Like, I don't. Maybe that's my fate. I gotta go with a Muslim. I refuse, though.
If you have the kids with you, Holly, he was probably just trying to help.
No, I was just me by myself.
Oh, yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, dude, like...
Well, but at least he asked if she was married.
White girls, they love them white girls.
I do have a Mexican that works for me, like he's my handyman guy for one of, and I love him. I do love him, but he does get a little too, he's very touchy, but it's not even just with me. It's almost like he's touchy with everyone, but sometimes he does get too flirty, and I have like called him out before, because I think he drinks sometimes and like messages me and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm gonna tell your wife, like don't, like, back off. Like, his wife also works right, she's scared, But it's not, like, I don't think, it's not, like, I don't think it's anything weird, maybe there is a, like, he just loves it.
Well, Mexicans have a thing for you.
Yeah. Usually it's everyone but white guys. I married a white guy, but like I never really I always got more attention from everyone else.
If you wouldn't do it in front of your wife, don't do it. Okay?
Exactly.
Well, the sad thing is that a lot of them would do it in front of his wife, Especially Mexicans, like they don't care.
She wears the pants in that relationship, let me tell you. She would slap the shit out.
I'm still trying to find out who this guy is, Daniel. I can't. I don't know.
The head of the IRGC Aerospace Force?
Yeah, the one Abby posted on the
Well,
chat.
he's in charge of basically we took out the head of their nuclear program.
From
let's
where?
say he was this.
Iran?
In Iran, yes, in the IRGC.
So
yes.
this is another guy, a second guy that was killed today.
Yes.
That is the head of the nuclear program.
Yes, so we killed one from Hamas. Assuming that it's all true, yes? So we killed one from senior of Hamas, one senior of Hezbollah, and one senior of the IRGC in 24 hours.
And also assuming it was Israel.
Yes, assuming it was Israel.
Three in a row.
Yes, assuming it's Israel, and that the third one we still don't have confirmation about. And also with the second one, Israel did not take responsibility about the attack in Iran, and they have been throughout the years people that were killed on Iranian soil. The Iranians will always blame Israel or Jerusalem, as they say, but sometimes it's people that Iran themselves are taking down and blaming us. So that also happens, but we don't respond either way. But they could also kill their own people and just blame us if they need to kind of get rid of someone.
Yeah, because that could be also a good way of blaming Israel or whatever,
Yeah, and there are people that just would believe anything that you would tell about Israel, and Israel not reacting. It's the same. I think with the ICC that Israel didn't even submit a reaction, because they don't acknowledge the ICC. They didn't even file anything to as defense, because even submitting the defense will be kind of accepting the jurisdiction of the ICJ or the ICC in this case. So this is why they didn't participate. So also in this case, acknowledging to here or to there is not something that Israel is known to do. So it kind of left in the mystery.
I'm reading the thing that Elle shared. I love the bee. It's hilarious.
The onion. There's also it's like the onion, right?
Yeah, it's like the onion, exactly. So the FBI confirmed this morning that Ismail Haniyeh, the political leader of Hamas and mastermind of the October 7th terrorist attacks in Israel, fell down after loud popping noises occurred in his immediate vicinity. Analysts say that the loud popping noises, which seem to have contributed to the terrorist leader's sudden fall, may have been potentially related to a pre-dawn flyover of the Iranian capital by several fighter jets with a blue Star of David painted on their fuselages. But that it is too early to determine whether there is any significant connection at this point. And then it's open quotes. Everyone attending the inauguration of the Iranian president was milling around, being super peaceful, talking about all sorts of peaceful things, reported Bart Lodge, FBI spokesman. And bystanders then reported several popping noises, almost like someone popping a packet of bubble wrap. And Ismail Haniyeh seemed to stumble a little bit and then fall down. We are still collecting information and hope to have an answer in a few decades. I'm about to finish. Sources within Hamas have confirmed that the terrorist leader was in fact dead and in many, many pieces. Several media sources, including the Washington Post, have mourned the passing of another austere religious scholar who died needlessly at the hands of those violent Israelis. At publishing time, reports from Lebanon confirmed that Fuad Shukur, a Hezbollah leader who was involved in the 1983 Marine Corps bombing in Lebanon, had also mysteriously fallen down after several noisy popping sounds.
I saw a meme this morning. I saw a very funny meme this morning. Yesterday, Ismail Haniyeh meets the new president of Iran. Today, Ismail Haniyeh meets the old president of Iran. Helicopter, helicopter.
Speaking of peaceful, in the inauguration of the new president, they were chanting "Death to Israel, Death to Israel." This is what they were chanting in the inauguration. Yes.
How can you have that?
What do you mean? How can you have that? This is like part of
how
their
can you
identity.
have that? I mean, like, it doesn't look good in Iran, even if it's just for the optics, dude.
It's good for the people that are trying to attract, not to the people that they are fighting against, which is like the West and
Makes all the college
democracies and stuff
students
like
in America happy when you say death to Israel.
I guess, I don't know.
I mean, students in America would be happy when you say death to America, so of course they would be happy with death.
Well, I say that too.
Yeah, I know, and they also burned the American flag, so it's not that. So these are the people that they are trying to appeal to. So death to Israel is something that is acceptable for some.
I was saying this yesterday, like after the guy was killed in Beirut. I'm like, this is like the last scene from The Godfather, where just all the dominoes fall and they kill every single one of their enemies. That's what's happening now. I think there are 5 leaders dead now in the past 24 hours.
3, no?
It's wonderful.
Is it?
Well, you had.
We had death, not Muhammad death, but that was like 2 weeks ago.
The guy in Iraq, Haniyeh.
Which guy in Iraq? Which guy in Iraq?
Which guy in Iraq?
There was a guy killed yesterday in Iraq that was, what was he? I forget what he was.
By Israel?
By America, actually, apparently.
Really? I didn't see this.
Huh. So one of the ones is that you're referring to is the attack in Gaza?
No, there's something somewhere in Iraq at Hezbollah headquarters there. Like, I guess Hezbollah has a headquarters in Iraq as well.
Okay. So Iraq, then Yemen?
Yemen was there was the port. And that was
no. Then Yemen, nobody died. It was just the destruction of infrastructure.
Well, no, people died, but not.
Yeah, but no leaders.
No,
okay.
Yes, no senior leaders.
So, Lebanon, Iran.
I'm hearing rumors of an IRGC guy that was killed today in Syria.
Yes,
that's what we were wondering about. Who is
Every
the
single
head
Axis
of
country's been hit in the past 24 hours.
The head of the what was it, Daniel?
Aerospace,
Yeah,
the IRGC Aerospace Force.
Oh, yeah, aerospace, yeah.
Aerospace, yeah.
And I thought one of you guys said that a nuclear guy also got killed too?
That's the one. Isn't it the same nuclear aerospace thing? Is it the same?
Maybe then there's 4 that
I
were
think
killed.
so.
No, the nuclear was like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm mixing everything.
I can't
Don't
make
listen to me.
conversation, sorry. Yeah.
Don't pay attention to me. I'm just mixing everything.
Well, this isn't over yet.
But fuck, it's been, I mean, like, everything that's happening right now. It's crazy. And I love it how clean it is.
We still have Sinwar, we still have Nasrallah, we still have Ayatollahs. This isn't over. And that's $8 billion that's just been freed for the Palestinians that Haniyeh had. I'm sure it'll make its way to the proper people.
Yeah, because he didn't have any family anymore, right?
No, he definitely had like 8 different wives and 1 billion children, but I think a bunch of them got killed in the past couple months. And he said they're all martyrs for the cause.
Well, they all must be very happy then. They fulfill their purpose.
They're all together in Gehenna.
I see that someone, Ice Cube, I invite you to go on stage because I see that you're putting a lot of propaganda in the chat. If you want to discuss any of the things that you posted about the rape and the chief rabbi permitted wartime and all kinds of nonsense, if you are willing to discuss this and not just kind of throw accusations, unless you are using it just to kind of stab at Israel. If you care for the truth and for the facts, you are welcome to come on stage. I sent you an invite, Ice Cube. and you can
He's
come.
a chicken shit, Daniel. He won't be coming up. He's just one of those chat warriors that like sit down there and lick his own balls. But you notice how you never hear these people ever decry. I was worried about rape now. Were they worried about all the Israeli women that were raped? Did they worry about that? You don't hear a peep.
Also,
Well,
now they
this
don't
is
care.
this is the
But
thing.
now this guy sticks the phone up his own ass.
This is the
does
thing, and
damage.
this is what Daniel and I have been trying to do. You know, when somebody comes in the room and they say, "Hey, why are you killing all these little children, all the women?" And we're like, "Okay, so you're upset about this war because of the children and the women?" Yes. Okay, so when for example, that happened the other day with a Muslim guy, and then we started bringing up the other places in the world where they are killing a lot of Muslim children, a lot of Muslim women, and we're like, okay, did you know about this? Because if you compare the numbers, this is just like a 1% of what you're worrying about. Oh yeah, but then they go to somewhere else. Yeah, but the land or whatever it is, you know. And so when you make them realize, and this is the reason why I like to ask questions to them, because I like for them to think, because if they are just coming with slogans and not even understanding what they're standing for, then you can break it down. It's like, okay, so the only reason you care about this conflict is just because you don't like the Jews. And that's it, you know, because it's not that you care about the children, it's not that you care about the land, it's not that you care about the religion, it's not that you care about any of this. It's just that you're pissed off at the Jews. And this is why you care. Now, all of it of a sudden just turns into a lot of just taglines, you know, just
Many people are being brainwashed, and I see how they're being brainwashed. I mean, I looked at for example, Ice Cube said that he will, or she or he will join us in a minute, but I look at like what they shared. And what they're sharing tweets of people that are writing what is going on. They're not giving sources. So someone is calling this like protest to justify, to legalize rape. So they go with this. And then they put a screenshot from an article. So you never see like what is the date. It could be like 10, 20, 30 years ago. So it really is important to see who said it. Like, for example, people saying things about Ben Gvir. Now, I will not be the one protecting Ben Gvir, but there's a difference between Ben Gvir being an 18-year-old or 16-year-old than Ben Gvir as a Ministry of Interior Security. So it's not the same thing, things that he said when he was 16 and things that he's saying when he has an official position. And when you take things out of context, I think it's misleading. And a lot of things that are happening in Twitter is that people get information that is out of context, out of time, because you can have something like I see the same child being what I do, and I suggest anyone to do this. When you see an image from Gaza, save it, then open Google Lens. It's an app of Google Lens, and then you could do a reverse image search, and then you will see what is the date of this, what is the earliest date that you can see. And a lot of times, pictures that I see from Gaza are published years ago. Some of them are from Turkey, some of them are from Lebanon. So it's really easy, if anyone wants to kind of check the source of when was this published. Even things that happen in Gaza, I see now images that happened, let's say, on the first week of the war. So people kind of get a twisted idea of what's going on the ground. This.
Hey, can I say something?
I lost my mic, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, if you cannot coexist with Jews, if you cannot coexist with Christians, if you cannot coexist with Hindus, there's no problem in the others. There's a problem in you. And if that is the case, and you cannot coexist with even the Buddhists, the Chinese, and the others, then I don't think, I mean, there's nothing more to say in all this. And you should look at yourself.
My grandfather
before
had a
you
saying.
start pointing fingers at the others.
Bimal, my grandfather had a saying. If you run into an asshole in the morning, you ran into an asshole. If you ran into assholes all day long, you in fact are the asshole. So to your point, if you can't get along with that group, with that group, with that group, with that group, maybe they are the asshole.
You know
You're
what
right.
the pro-parties will tell you, that Jews have been expelled from 109 countries and everybody's hating them. Yada, yada, yada. That would be the rebuttal for.
But what group?
Who's right and who's wrong?
But countries. What kind of countries? One by who? One common denominator.
No, Daniel, to your mention of the Jews being removed from 109 countries, but they were welcomed in India. So there is at least one country where they were welcomed, right? But you see the Muslims. I don't think they're welcomed in any country. Poland has shut its borders. Poland has not allowed any refugees. Even Egypt and those surrounding countries, the Arab countries.